Good morning and welcome back. My name is Rebecca, if you haven't visited me before, and I have been an art teacher, craft teacher for more than 50 years. And I would like to share with you one of the requests from my YouTube site. The very first request was for etching on glass. It can be done on mirror, it can be done on like a picture frame glass, it can be done on a clear bottle, as long as it's not something really dark. It might show up, but it would not show up well. So today I actually have a set of supplies that I'm going to show you and explain to you. They're not a lot. The acid etching is the actual acid etching cream is quite expensive. And although they tell you on the bottle to wash it off after, I don't. I put it back in to make it last longer. So you can get a lot out of a single bottle. The actual expense-wise, only item that is expensive is the glass etching cream. So the most important thing is to make sure you are protected, and rubber gloves or vinyl gloves are very important. To protect the surface of your mirror, you need to have self-adhesive or self-sticking. I used to get something called MacTac at the dollar store, but I can't find anything plain there. So I ordered this online, but it's just a plastic with self-adhesive back, and you can cut it according to the lines on the back. And we're going to be cutting out where the acid goes. This is what is a little bit expensive, the Armour Etch glass etching cream. It comes with a couple of brushes, and you can't just buy it anywhere. I ordered it from Amazon. You need a good sharp razor. I like these disposable ones because you can break off the tip and make sure it's really sharp. You need a pencil or a ballpoint pen. And this is something that I used because although the instructions on this says to wash off the excess, it's way too expensive to wash it off. So I scoop it back into the jar with, you can use a credit card, you can use whatever. This is what I use. You do need a light source, or unless you can just draw, which I don't do really well. So this is very messy, and they're not really expensive. So you do need a light source. It can be just a window in the sunshine. This is not really expensive. Little light table. You can put a couple of 4 cans with some plexiglass and your flashlight from your phone underneath. It doesn't matter what this light source is, but you need to be able to trace something. So, and you need obviously either a mirror, and I just went to the dollar store, got something little here today. You can do the glass out of a picture frame as well. You can do, if you have an old mirror, you can do something down in the corner. So let's continue with suggestions to actually what are you going to do. So if you're using words, one of the things that's kind of fun to do is to use a clear bottle, wine bottle, whatever, with a word on it and the little fairy lights inside. So I want to talk a little bit about if you're going to use words, because my hand is steady, but I still can't do a really good job of a straight line. And so because once you've traced this onto here, and this is then stuck down to your mirror, you have to cut it out. So I printed a few things to show you. Anything with straight lines is better because you can actually lay a ruler underneath and, cut down to your ruler on each one to keep it level. what works for printing doesn't necessarily work well for what we're doing. So for example, on this is a very fine line. I would be very surprised if you could get that line to work. Uneven is actually good because it doesn't show where you've made a mistake. Something like this is not good compared to something like this. Not that it won't show, it's just harder to cut out, and what you cut out is where the acid goes. This sort of idea of more straight lines than curved lines works well for me. And then, like I said, if you have a font that's uneven, it hides a lot. So that's if you're doing words. If you're doing a picture, so for example, this is the same bicycle. You have a couple of choices. I would certainly use the less busy icon. And if you go to vector, line drawing, and then the word that you want, bicycle, it'll bring up a whole bunch of choices that you can print out. And then just check and make sure you're not breaking copyright. So once you get something that looks like this, you can so you color in what you want to cut out. So this doesn't help me, but this helps me. So where I have colored in black, I would be removing the vinyl. Where I have not colored, it would stay there. And so that would be mirror, the black would be the acid etched color. So you can do something fine like that. You can do something just every second one like that. It's a little easier. It's up to you, certainly. You get something like this. To me, that's too many lines. You need more of something simple. And please stay away from trying to do three-dimensional things until you're a whole lot better than I am, because it just becomes a mess. So I'm actually got a request. My very first request online was to do acid etching. And so I know it's a man, and I thought it would be fun to do a man's idea of what should we color, what should we acid etch. So old cars or your car works really well. It's a matter of coloring in and deciding what to cut out. So this is not going to be as interesting, because if you color all of this, it's gonna just be all solid, right? Whereas something like this, you would draw a second line down here, second line down here, obviously with more accuracy than I'm doing. And so I actually color on the, you can color on the vinyl, or you can color on your picture, but decide what you want to be acid etched and what you want to be mirror. So for example, probably this is solid, this is not, so I would acid etch up here to make it look more solid. I would leave the windows just mirror, I would acid etch down here. So you build up your design according to positives and negatives of what your picture is, okay? So I have my grandson's car already done. So this is the line drawing of his car, and this is what I have decided, how I have decided to acid etch it. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put the little inner tube on, but as for this part here, so because I want this to show up, I've left it. I'm going to leave that here. I'm gonna cut out all of this. I'm gonna leave that line, cut out all of this. So just play a little bit with your pencil before you waste any money, because that acid etching cream is expensive. The last thing, of course, you really must have vinyl gloves. So let's get started. So I learned a lesson today. My impatience at looking in the dollar store for the inexpensive vinyl has not worked well. I ordered this online and it's very, very thick, and I can't see through it to trace. So I'm gonna have to fudge it. I might use carbon paper do it this way with carbon paper instead. I might turn out all the lights and trace it on that way, because right now the light for the camera is undoing the light from underneath. So I will be back once I have traced my line drawing onto my vinyl. So lesson learned, don't spend a lot of money on Amazon, go to the dollar store. I'll be back. Hello, I'm back. It was a little bit of a struggle because this is way too thick for what I want. I probably should have just used tracing paper or carbon paper, excuse me. I should have used carbon paper under my picture to get it on here, because right now it's sort of right, and I know it's not as accurate as I would have preferred it, but I'm going to continue because this is a lesson in what not to do as much as it is a lesson in what to do. I will use this and this when I go cutting out the pieces to refer to, rather than having a whole lot of detail on here, which I would have preferred to have. So I will peel this off and attach it to my mirror. You know what? I think I'm going to yes, it's much thicker than the dollar store stuff, I can tell you that much. So I'm going to put it sort of down near a corner so that you still have a little bit of mirror left, and just make sure it's down tight with no bubbles or anything. And so that the acid does not, there is a tiny little bit, I'll have to be careful. A little tiny bit up there, but it's pretty good as far as placement on here. So the next step is to cut out, and that's what your razor blade is for. And I will do 3/4 of it off camera, because it's going to take a little while, quite a little while, to do it accurately, and I don't want to just waste your time doing the same thing. So again, I'll be back. I thought of a couple more things to tell you as I'm working on this. So as you're cutting, get a metal, find a dollar, you can go to the thrift store and find it, but a metal ruler, and cut using the ruler. And then once you have cut an area that you know you're going to take out, put an X on that, because this is the window. This is this, which I want to be clear. So, you know, you can sort of color it a little, I suppose, or you can put an X on it. And just follow. So this one, there's a line that goes across here that I want to keep in there. So I'll use my ruler and my razor blade to do that. I've already done this, which, if you feel, well, if you feel with the tip of your razor, you'll know whether you've done it or not. And then put an X on that. So this and this has a line here. So I don't want to make it just one. I could make it just one, but it's got a line on here. So I'm going to assume that there should be some change from here to here. So this line here, you need to have it 2 lines, because you're going to pick out, let's see if we can pick out one. And make sure that it's not pulling up something you don't want it to pull up as you pull. So there's my little X piece. So this is going to have acid on it, this is not. And it's just a repeat of that over and over again. The hard part, I suppose, where you could mess up in here is deciding what you want to take out and don't want to take out. So for example, you know,
this line up here, I'm going to change down to here because I want to keep that separation. See if I can, and I haven't cut down yet. Make sure you don't cut from up here. You just want to cut out the part that you want to remove. So something hasn't cut all the way to the edge, or it would peel. There it goes. And this line down here, I will do this one with the ruler because it's straight, but this one is not straight, so I'm going to just mimic the shape by hand. This is an artist's interpretation of a design as opposed to an exact replica of the design, and this at the bottom has kind of arches to it. So if this is coming out, then this has to stay. So don't end up taking them both out, or at least if you are going to take them both out, put a double line around it. So is this, let's see how far this can be picked. How far have I cut? And if you're gentle and it resists, you know you just haven't cut it yet. So up top, see how it's not letting go? So I have not cut all the way. Now it should let go. There you go. So as you can see now, because I was pushing down on this, I've got a little bit of glue left from the back of this. So you do have to sort of pick upwards as opposed to pushing downwards when you're removing. Other than that, I'll be back when I'm ready to go to the next step. All right, my friend, I have had to do eat a little humble pie here because the very small lines that I had wanted to keep were a little bit too tiny. So I simplified my design to some degree, and I would suggest for your first one you do something even more simple than this, like a dolphin or a, you know, or something without a whole lot of tiny little spaces. Anyway, that's okay. You're here, I'm here, we can do this. So the next step is this. It only takes, it says on the bottle 1 to 3 minutes, so I leave it 5. I'm not very good at following directions, and I know it, so I'm a rebel. What can I say? You're a rebel, join me. But I also, as I said before, I ignore the suggestion that you just rinse it off because it's just way too expensive to throw away. It would be easier, but I think they just want to make more money. So we're not going to do that. So you want a real thick, it's a cream. I don't think it doesn't even say to shake it. And the brush that they sent with us, I'll show you at the end as well how to paint that. But you want a real good, like, lay it on, not paint it on. You're just laying it down there. I didn't even use a paint. I didn't used to use a paintbrush, but the thing came with a paintbrush, so we'll be good this one time and use a paintbrush. So a good thick layer. You don't want to see through the layer. You want it to be like you don't do that kind of thing. Although if you get really good at this, please let me know what it's like, because you might be able to make some of it less intense and some of it more intense by painting that. Might be something I'll have to experiment with, but I won't do it in front of you, because then if I mess up, you won't like me anymore. Forget I said that. Okay, so we're just all over the edge, all over. So I will pause you for 5 minutes while this sets. Okay, my timer has gone off. My 5-minute timer has gone off. And so what we're going to do is just with something flat. It can be a credit card, it can be the brush, I suppose. You could pick it up with a brush. Depends how many rough edges you've got there, how much of this you're going to get off. I just don't like wasting it. It's just seems wrong somehow. So I put it back. As long as you haven't touched it and played with it and added something to it, it's not going to spoil what's left. Let's see if we can get more off with the brush or not. Yes, we can. All right. Because the part that's had the acid on it is a little rough now. It's eaten through the smooth edge, so it kind of scrapes a bit. Yeah, I'm getting a lot more off with the brush. Brush is working good. So I'm going to put the lid on this. I'll show you how to wash your brush in a minute. Actually, I think maybe I'll do that now, because once I get that in the water, won't be clean. So clean water, ordinary dish soap in the palm of your hand. In the palm of your hand. And then just rub your brush around and around and around in the soap, and then rinse. And then do that a couple, 3 times. This is the way you clean paintbrushes with paint. And if it was that, it would be colored, so I would know when we're done. This isn't colored, so I'm going to just do it twice. And then pinch it so that it stays flat. Okay, so now we're going to rinse this off. And we'll see if it worked. If it didn't, I don't want to hear it. Right. I'll just, let's see, paper towel. I know I have it somewhere. Peel off our, let's get this out of here. This is skookum stuff, I'll tell you. Drum roll, please. Whoops, not that kind. So where the self-adhesive vinyl was remains mirror. And where the acid was gets frosted. Probably should have gotten some tweezers. Add that to your list. Okay, so I'm just gonna, it's gonna take soap and water to get this smear looking off, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're all washed off. You can tell me if you think that this looks at all like Roger's vehicle. I'm not real happy with it. I probably should have simplified it more instead of trying to get all the little tiny little lines in there. So I should have done that maybe as all as one. But at least the process worked. I would say the only thing that really didn't work is when I just dabbed it on, I didn't get a good thick thing on the tires, although tires can be a little bumpy. So I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself today. I hope that you learned something and that you're confident enough to give it a try. I am not thrilled with what we did, simply because the amount of detail that I tried to put in there was pretty much too much. You tell me, do you think it looks enough like Roger's vehicle? Hopefully so. But if not, that's okay. We learned what not to do as well. And as I say each time, if everything went perfectly the first time, you'd think it was really easy, and then the next time when you have a problem, you'll think, okay, what's wrong? So it's better if it goes wrong for me and you see it. Thanks for joining me. I've enjoyed myself being with you, and I hope you'll come again. Bye for now.